don't have after a brief after a brief 2-week hiatus.
Yeah, what's up?
Just kind of regathering our thoughts and emotions and all this quarantine shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're back. We are back, and everybody's in the house today. Gary's doing chores in the background, spraying Febreze.
Just took a shit.
Chan's got a plate. Man, that shit look delicious. I'm just chilling. I got my old school Olajuwon on, throwback, retro.
And y'all probably wondering why I'm wearing a suit.
Yes. So if you're on the video, first of all, real quick, before we jump into that, if you're not on the video, y'all are behind. We've been doing video casts for a couple weeks now. We got the YouTube populated. You can see you can listen to every episode on the YouTube. The last couple, of course, we've recorded live video. So you need to check us out. Just look up Repertoire Network. Of course, you can find all those links on Twitter and on the Instagram at therep.network. Or if you're ever just like, where do I find the latest? Therep.network. Go to our website, check it out. So, like you said, we're just going to jump right into it. For those on the video, you see right now, Jack got a suit on. First of all, you got to introduce him to your new look and then explain like we don't know what's going on. What's up with the suit?
It's not because of the podcast. So if I'm going to get that out, I didn't dress up for the podcast. So, yeah, I'm just saying that. But no, it's for actually like a project for class. So I have to do like a 10-minute video of trying to make this proposal of this idea that I have. So that's why I literally just finished and hopped right on this the podcast or whatever. So that's why I have a suit on.
Oh, dedication. We did it in Mike's backyard, like that same class.
No, it's a different class, different one.
Oh.
But I'm mad because I actually sat here and I gave like a 10-minute speech, and the fucking video fucked up, bro. Shit just stopped working, So I'm like, fuck, and it was good too, So I had to redo everything.
Damn.
Yeah, that shit sucks.
Little anecdote, little backstory. One time, it was 5 years ago now. Yeah. 2015, start of the new year. We were kicking up the Mike and Chance show. It was just a podcast. We were supposed to make several episodes. We only made one. But the funny thing is, we went for about an hour and a half.
Someone die or something that night?
Something random happened. I know we did like an hour and a half, and then we looked, and it didn't record a single minute. So we had to basically run it back, and you could tell part of it were like, Chance even makes comments in there like, man, this is the same shit. Which, we might as well throw some of those old video links.
Might as well.
It's actually pretty funny.
But hey, that actually brings up another thing. So, I talked about the Mike Silva show, old videos. I'll throw them on there on the YouTube connected channel so you can go back and watch. We actually, 3 of us had some pretty good video content. But the other update, Chance, you got a solo show. Spit about it.
I do, actually. It's weird because the week that we went on our hiatus, or the week after, or the week before, actually, because we did the last episode on that Monday, put it out Monday. Friday, I started a new little shindig, just kind of off the ho-hum. And you guys were actually my first 2 guests, but it's called Every Fucking Friday at 4:20 with that nigga Chance. I'm on the YouTube or whatnot, but how I do my interviews and whatnot is I'll get on Instagram Live. And I'll be running a live, and whoever watches the live, they can obviously join me or whatever on that shit, and we'll just go from there, have a conversation. And it's actually it's been shit. I mean, I think my first video, I think right now it's at about 120, maybe 130 views, something like that. Second one's maybe around 40, but it's only been around 3 days or some shit like that. I mean, shit, it's looking up. People keep telling me, man, don't stop, just keep doing it. So, I gotta get a little bit more structure and shit like that, because keep getting demonetized and shit like that, because I keep playing my music.
Everything.
What's
up with that?
It's pretty good. It's a pretty fun thing, because I'm just doing it for me. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, my last episode was actually it ran for an hour and 20 minutes, because me and my friend Marcus, who I went to, remember that time back in September when I went to a wedding and then staying in and shit like that? Yeah, well, it was his wedding, you know what I'm saying, that I went to, him and my friend Star. And Marcus is a great fucking conversation. He listens to Don't At Me. He's a regular listener. Has been listening to since the beginning. So shout out Marcus Atrilius. You know what I'm saying? Good guy. We got to get him on here one day too, man, because he's a smart dude. You know what I'm saying?
The smaller the Philly gets.
Yeah, and I want to say that too, man. Like he's extremely like well spoken, which I told you, Chance.
Yeah,
I can tell he's very like woke. I hate using that word, but whatever. Like he's very. Like,
I know I hate using that shit too, but that's just what it is.
Yeah, but he's very like in touch with everything that's going on. Like I like that. So shout out to you, Marcus. Definitely gotta have you on.
So, what would be a synonym for woke? Enlightened, but I feel like enlightened seems like kind of pompous.
Because I think that this is like the new Enlightenment period.
Yeah,
how I would agree. You know how that shit was like in like the 1860s, 1870s or some shit in like Paris and shit.
Yeah.
Warhol. I mean not Warhol. What's the guy's name?
Yeah.
What's that movie? One Night in Paris with fucking Luke Wilson, Owen Wilson. Wow, that guy.
Oh yeah, Owen Wilson.
Fuckers and shit like that.
Yeah.
This is the time for that, man. We're the next Hemingways and shit.
Yeah, I feel you. I mean, we're going into a new era now. Regardless of what your theories are, I know you got some that are a little bit out there. I guess. I mean, I'm not trying to criticize them. You know, I mean, some of them I buy, some of them I believe, or I'll at least entertain. Some, you know, I guess I agree with the notion. Some of them we have varying degrees of how much we believe in them. I guess you would say.
Right.
But
I mean, because most of them, like, they're really not even theories. It's just kind of what's happening.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like it's just snowballing. So that's kind of what it is, and that's what I've realized in the past 2 weeks is that, I mean, half of the shit that I've said is kind of coming to pass. It's just like slowly snowballing because if you look at like how companies are kind of like doing their marketing now. Yeah. And, you know, doing business pretty much. It's literally kind of what I was talking about on that pod.
Well, there's some places that really don't have a choice. I mean, I think the consumer from now on is immediately going to look at reviews and try to see how much you prioritize cleanliness. I mean, look at all these different all these restaurants that are, you know, detailing like, hey, you know, touch free. Even Taco Bell will have like a big ass commercial like your touch free late night experience. Yeah, okay, congrats. Like we're all doing that. But I mean that's true though. Like that's gonna be kind of like an expectation moving forward, you know?
Oh, for sure. And I mean, like you said, what was it, like 2 pods ago? I think it was like the Contagion, like episode 28, 29, some shit like that. Dude, like this is some shit we should have been doing. You know?
Yeah.
Like it's ridiculous that we have to tell people to make sure they wash their hands and shit like that. Like you should do that anyway. You know?
Yeah.
Like, this is, I don't know. It's fun though, man. I'm having a great time with this. It's just like a free vacation to me. As you can see, I moved out some more shit in the garage, man. I got way more space now.
True. Yeah. I mean, I will say, like, I've definitely made the most of my time. And I mean, I know not everybody's as fortunate. Look, I'll be grateful. I feel blessed to have all the things I have, you know. You know, but it does open you up to time that, you know, it's an unprecedented amount of time that we never had before to just be mindful and kind of do your own thing or finally pick up a project you've been putting off. Like I've done a ton of home improvement, you know, and you've got your whole garage set up too, you know?
For sure. Backyard too. I had to fix that shit up too. Yo, real quick, I have a question. Are you recording video?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, because it says like recording or something. I didn't see that.
Oh wait, is it not?
No, I saw it. It said recording.
It said recording?
Yeah.
I see it saying recording. Now I got you thinking you got the heebie-jeebies from what happened the first time.
Hell yeah.
I'm looking at the timer right now. I hope that shit's working because that's what I'm using for the thumbnails on the time marks.
If it wasn't recording.
So you this morning, man, you hit the group chat. You said like shit was fucking weird today. What was weird?
I was?
Yeah, you said something. Hold on.
I was just you sent me some Instagram and I just said, yeah, crazy shit. I mean,
it. Oh yeah, shit in the world, yeah. For sure.
It's taking
There's a lot of fucking random ass helicopters and shit flying around this bitch.
Where did I see this?
You know,
I was laughing about the DJ Khaled thing. That was funny. Monkey, little kid. Yeah, there's all kind of crazy shit going on in the
Why
world.
the
Like,
fuck is he going like live with people, with
I don't know.
random ass people?
I do notice that celebrities now are kind of going more like, I guess as a result from all of this, restaurants, businesses, they're doing more like voice of the customer, paying more attention to their digital outreach and social media. But you're seeing celebrities start doing it too. Like Idris Elba, I feel like every time I get on Instagram, he's going live. And I always throw a request. Just, I don't have shit to say. I'm just like, shit, if you
Yeah,
got me on there, just, oh, hey,
just
and
see if he
laugh about
answers
it.
that shit.
Yeah, but he never
It was
does.
crazy.
So
Like
whatever.
you're right about the like engagement with from like say like not even celebrities, say like verified accounts and
Mhm.
the people that follow them and shit. Because I've been putting like a lot of we all know that like the females of Instagram have all been like double downing on whatever it is they do, which is just take pictures without the clothes type shit. I've been putting like a lot of like heart eyes and like random like like the smiley face was like like that and shit. I've been getting a lot of likes and fucking like comments like kissy faces and shit like that. I showed y'all a few, but it's been like tenfold of that though. Y'all only see the best of the best.
Hey, so like, have y'all been like wearing the mask and stuff when y'all been leaving, or y'all just covering your face?
I don't know. Like, so at first I was like, oh, they're going to enforce this. I'm not going to break the rules. I'm going to wear it.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't give a shit. Like, I have like a bandana in my car just in case. Like, if I'm going to go out and about, I would. But I really don't go out and about. The only places I've been, Panera to get my coffee and go, just in and out. Not even that anymore. I have them come to the car because they offer it. So I'm like, why not? Piss me off, though. The girl always wears a mask, right? Today, she had the mask, but she had it under her chin. And I'm like,
like, bitch, you breathing on my shit?
yeah. But I don't know. I mean, I really haven't. Aside from that, if I was going out and about, I would. I will say this though. I just rode my bike before we started recording, and I did not wear a mask. And I was kind of like,
Well,
at what point,
outside.
When you're riding bikes and you're like rollerblading, that's considered exercise, so you don't have to wear a mask for that. So if you're exercising, like you're not supposed to wear one. What they were saying, only if you're going like to stores and shit like that.
I guess that makes sense.
You don't have to
Yeah,
wear
right? You're wearing shit, working out,
In some places, like some businesses, say like if you go to the grocery store or some shit like that, Walgreens, anywhere, I'd wear a mask. I'd fucking cover my face and shit like that because you're in a confined space. But when I'm out like on the earth and shit like that,
See, and I do the same thing, but there's a threshold, right? And that it's weird. We're in this era where we have so much information, yet we never know shit. We never know at all what's going on. We didn't know where Kawhi was going. We didn't know where Brady was going. Like all these major things you should know, we didn't know, like nothing. We've made business and made news out of speculation,
Yeah.
Dude,
and
that's all news is.
It is
like speculation.
I think even the weather, like, here's a percent.
It's like,
What other profession can you put like an accuracy number on the work you're producing? Like, man, I'm gonna give you about a 70% chance what I'm doing works, but there's a 30% chance what I say is gonna won't work at all. But I mean, but to that effect, and I'll finish my point, because I know I'm long-winded. They always try to make you paranoid of more things, like, oh, are you really safe with 6 feet social distancing? Should it be further? And they do all these crazy CSI investigations showing snot or whatever in the air, like, oh, it can travel 10 feet. Like, I know y'all have seen this. I saw a tweet that was like, okay, I might never fly again, where it had a video of what happens in aircrafts.
Mm-hmm.
And it just showed an animated GIF of the air just circulating in and out of that bitch. But I've heard the opposite though, because I've also heard that the way that the air filtration system works, it'll bring air in and dump it out in an in an airplane. But that's what I'm saying. In the era of information, the golden age, we don't know shit.
No, it's like, see, with that, there's like too much information out there. And none of it ever gets like cross-referenced with anything. No one ever fact checks shit anymore. Like they just put it out. Like I kind of got back on Facebook within the past like 3 or 4 weeks or whatever. Like just like actually just started scrolling, and then the next thing kind of started posting and shit like that because I was running the rep page. You know what I'm saying? So I actually ran an ad on that shit, or whatever. But like just being on Facebook, you see the dumbest fucking like news articles from like The Onion or some shit like that, and people like put it out there as like facts. It's like, yo, what the fuck? This is the fucking Onion. Like, come on, like. But like people are like, oh my god, guys, it's getting real out here. Like, come on, chill out, yo. But then it's like we got fucking so no one's scared of the COVID and shit no more. And then fucking we got hit with the murder wasp. Jock, you want to get into the murder wasp real quick? I know that wasn't on a docket, but I've been seeing a lot of that shit.
Jock, I know you're concerned, man. That's a good point.
Yeah. So like on the last episode or one of the last episodes,
yes,
I had like a wasp nest on my car. You guys like aware of that, which is fucking crazy. So I was walking a couple of days ago and I saw like a big ass wasp. Like it was unusually bigger than like normal. I was like, that shit's kind of strange. Like, it's kind of big, but whatever. And I just kept walking and shit. And then fast forward to like yesterday, get the fucking killer wasp or whatever, or the it's just crazy.
The murder wasp,
murder hornets. They're just crazy, man. But actually, that shit is just in Washington right now, so we're good out here in Texas. Like,
hey, remember when COVID was just in Washington, though?
Yeah. I was just about to say that.
Yeah. We're good for a little bit, I guess.
Oh, man.
If we're looking at this from like a very meta standpoint, it shows how quickly anything can become viral if you put it in the right person's hands.
Mm-hmm.
Of actual virus, YouTube sensation, a meme, a rumor, news, fake news.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like, I mean, think about even when we were kids. Remember how there was always that rumor that everybody just knew as a fact, but now you look back, you're like, there's no way that was real. The whole Marilyn Manson one.
Raped?
Oh, yeah.
Like who?
Like Lil Bow Wow getting raped by his
That
bodyguard?
was one. Marilyn Manson's rib.
How did anyone know that? That went around. Okay. I've asked people that like 2 years ago. They'd be like, yo, you heard that too?
So what are like the fake news, like the top fake news stories that we all believed when we were younger?
Well, one was the Lil Bow Wow getting raped.
Also Sierra. Like I believe that. Remember they were saying she was like
a man.
Yeah, like a hermaphrodite.
My name is Sierra.
I could buy that one, man. Like I actually like Sierra. That's why I'm like.
I think it's fine, bro. You know what I mean? Like that's Sierra, So. But because we're little, at the time.
I still don't know, like the lights in the car thing.
Also, the Bloody Mary thing.
You talking about when you turn the light on in the car?
Yeah, like
we're gonna die.
Well, is that like is that supposed to be like you can get a ticket, or your parents are just like, hey, I can't focus? Because it is hard to drive when the lights on in there.
I think it's just like someone can't focus, so they're always like, oh, we're gonna die.
Or
dads always did that shit though, like always.
Yeah. Never step on a crack. Remember that? Step on a crack, break him
his back. Hell yeah!
Imagine the one kid that was like, "Oh, it's bullshit," and he's just like, "Oh, okay," and then he steps on his crack.
Like in Tales from the Hood, she gets all like crumpled up and shit.
Like David Allen Greer.
This ain't over, bitch.
Monster. He just drew him and tore the paper up.
You think that shit is funny? Yeah, I remember one time. Hold on. I remember one time, like back when I was in probably like 9th grade, my sister had a bunch of her friends over, and Chase was probably in like elementary school, probably like 5th grade or some shit at the time. And we were watching that movie, or he was watching. He kept rewinding that one part where the nigga take the frying pan. He's like, "Bitch!" Like Ben's. He kept rewinding that shit, bro. Like that was so fun.
There are some scenes you just have to keep rewatching and keep rewatching and rewatching. There was one I had the other day I was laughing about, man. It's even more rare when you can see it with stand-up. Like it doesn't happen often. But I mean, when I watch stand-up, there's some stand-up that's always funny, right? That you'll just like, every time you watch it, you'll laugh about. But you don't often have the shit that you'll see where you're like being tears laughing, Yeah. And it's one of those things like, you're not going to get that back. So it's like the first time you hear it, it's like up here.
Yeah.
Second time you hear it, it might still be kind of there because maybe you pick up another detail or something that you missed. But then it's just like a diminishing return from there. But one of those things that I watched recently was Chris D'Elia actually had a stand up, and he has this whole bit about dolphin suicide. I'll just leave it at that. I won't kill the joke. You got to watch it. But there was this whole, because he's a very physical actor, so like the pantomime he does of it, I'm just like, yeah, I got to watch that again. Tears.
I heard about that actually.
Have y'all ever heard about dolphin rape?
Yeah, I think he talks about that too.
Yeah, like so apparently like dolphins rape like a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? It's like hundreds of people a year. They get raped by dolphins.
Well, and that's the thing that kills me, right? Like if you look at things,
dolphins are extremely smart though. Like they actually fuck for pleasure.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, like as a animal. You know what I mean? So it's shit's crazy.
Dolphins know how to finesse. Like different tones too.
This girl, shout out Jaritza. She used to do this. Hey, like thing with like a dolphin.
Did I know her?
Nah, she used to work at Foot Locker with me.
Damn.
That shit would be funny. We'd be like, Jaritza, be a dolphin. And she'd be like, I don't know why. It was fucking stupid though.
Whatever works.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. So what's on the docket, man? We got a full one or what's up?
Ish. We chopped through a lot of the early parts. Only other things, man, I miss sports. I've been watching like a lot of old sports. Been watching like a lot of replay. I've been watching a lot of football, baseball, basketball. The weird thing is, so I'll tell you this. I watched the 03 ALCS, which was like Yankees Red Sox. Mm-hmm. And that was the one that was back and forth. Well, not in the beginning. The beginning, it was 4-0 Sox, and then it was 5-2 going into the 8th. And the Yankees just had like a great inning. They left Pedro Martinez in too long. They ended up tying it up.
Fucking, yeah, well, Derek Jeter like fucking smacked the shit out of
He got the rally going. He actually, I mean, he was the one that got a double. He got a big double, and then like they just kept hitting the ball in, and then Aaron Boone had the walk off in the 11th inning.
Watching that shit like back in 03. Like,
well, the reason I bring that one up, I mean, I was just rewatching it for the hell of it, but when I watched it, you know, I'm a Yankees fan. When I watched it at the time, I was literally like freaking out, like tearing up, screaming happy. And I remember I ran outside and I was running up and down the street like a dumbass, just shouting like, yeah, I was so hype, right? Mm-hmm. And I mean, I've seen the highlight in the background plenty of times since then, but that was the first time I had watched it, like the entire color commentary from like, you know, 11th inning, from the beginning of that inning to the hit to the whole celebration. And man, watching it, I immediately got like that wave of that excitement that I had as a kid. And I kind of teared up a little bit. I'm like, this is weird. But it's kind of like that whole like reliving history kind of thing. Like sometimes you could just see shit and there are just the right set of circumstances around you that kind of puts you in that mindset again where you relive it. I mean, I know we've all had those moments before, but it was weird to me how, you know, that was what, 15 years ago, 17 years ago. Yeah. And it's weird how like the emotion and all that still felt so fresh, you know?
It's fucking sports, man. Like, oh, yo, you know, I was, last week I was, and the week before I was hating a bit on the Last Dance and shit because like, after watching that first 2 episodes, I was like, yeah, I know all this shit. You know what I'm saying? But once I got to about I think it was like either the 4th or 5th episode, when they're talking about like Scotty and, you know what I'm saying, like all that shit, when they're talking about the 93 season, because, you know, it jumps back and forth. They're talking about the 93 season and like the 92, 93 season. That's when like fucking memory and shit like start to hit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, the ECS with the Knicks. I mean, that like at that time, dude. I mean, that's when like literally my memories and everything like started to fucking kick and shit. And I was like, dude, okay, this is the Jordan I fucking remember. You know what I'm saying? With the 7s, you know, or the 8s and shit like that. You know, like I remember like that time
like Mike.
Like fucking getting beat up by John Starks and shit like that. You know, it's like, what the fuck? Like Like, I mean, that was a crazy series. So I like actually binge watched that shit last night, like all together, to kind of catch up on it and shit like that, man. And I will say it is a pretty good put together documentary.
Jock, how have you been watching it?
Back and forth.
Like, have you watched it like? So you said you binged it, Jock. Have you been watching it? I feel like you've been watching it live, like the second it comes on, huh?
I watch it like every Sunday, like right when it comes on at 8:00. On my TV, I tune in, and it's getting progressively like better. Even the first episode was really good. Yeah. When they start
I would say it's getting progressively better.
Right, yeah. Talking about this.
The first 2 episodes, it's like, I know all this shit. You know what I'm saying? Tell me something new or whatever. Because, you hear about the Gerry Cross and, like all that shit. Like, it's like, oh, okay, we know all this shit. But, like, once they get into that 3rd, 4th episode and, the deal with Scotty and shit like that, like, I mean, it's just like, like, all right, like, okay, I fucks with it. I see how they put it together. I was looking at the credits of that shit. And one of the producers on there is Mike Tollin. Do y'all recognize that name?
Yeah, I forgot. He's like the guy that made it, right?
Mike Tollin used to do all the Nickelodeon shit, like all the Snick shit, like Kenan and Kel, fucking all that, shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like he was a producer on that, and so now he's put this shit together and shit like that. So I just think that's like, oh, okay, so that's how you encapsulate the 90s and shit. And then the music and everything on there too. Like, I mean, when they play like that LL Cool J, that I'm Bad, I mean, that shit, like, I mean, that was a beautiful fucking put together, like, highlight reel. You know what I'm saying? Of just like what he was doing at that time. And that was like the 88 shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. My thing is, man, I just like how they actually just get personal with everybody. You see like this more of the behind the scenes and how they really just talking regular like us. They're cussing and doing all this. And I think that's dope because you get to actually like know more of the actual person. Like, yeah, we knew Mike was the greatest of all time.
Yo, it's kind of crazy.
Jack, finish with that.
So yeah, we knew like he was like one of the greatest of all time. And so the fact that when, the last episode, when it was the whole gambling shit that came up, which is like, it's crazy because when you reach a certain pinnacle in life, people always try to knock you down. They always try to dig for dirt. And Dave Chappelle was talking about that in his stand-up, like, man, I wonder what y'all gonna find about me, because it's always like that. Kevin Hart happened to him, so that's what drove like Mike out of the league. And like I wasn't really aware of it until like I am now, like the media,
Yeah. I mean, you learn all the little details. I mean, just the pressure, and you see it. You empathize with it a little bit. Now, I mean, there's so much more access. You get to talk to these people almost directly now with social media, whereas in the past you couldn't. So before, think about MJ. I mean, it's not like he can go on Twitter and get a burner account when he's in 94 and be passive aggressive about shit. Not saying that he necessarily would, but he just absolutely could not. Now it's like you're set up in every way to fail. I mean, if he felt like he was under the microscope, then imagine if he played in the Twitter era.
I don't think he would have lasted like as long as he did in this era. Like if he couldn't handle the media then, like you said, can you imagine now? I don't think he would have lasted as long personally.
I mean, because the media pretty good.
Well, he did, but just like you were saying, I mean, like once. I think with anything, people get bored. They get tired of dominance. They get tired of seeing the same thing. Right. In any sport, anytime the alpha dog really starts becoming the alpha dog, they get haters. Like it happens every single time. Yeah. And I think that sentimentally, even the passive watcher, the passive viewer comes in rooting for the underdog. So if they don't know what's going on, like, oh, this Jordan guy, wow, yeah, he's something. Yeah, I hope the other team wins. Just, because they're rooting for the underdog. Right. And I mean, after a while, that all just kind of comes together and adds up. People are tribal, so it's like, oh, I hope the underdog wins. And then it's almost like, well, fuck them, they won. It's like, wait, you didn't care. Now all of a sudden you're invested.
I mean, him getting a standing ovation in Madison Square Garden, that last night in '98 or whatever, last time he played there, when he laced up in the ones and shit like that. I mean, New Yorkers hated him. You know what I'm saying? Like throughout his entire career, they fucking hated that guy. And for him to, I mean, but they knew greatness. It's like the same thing with Kobe. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, you love to hate him. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I mean, with greatness in anything. I mean, like shit. Like I don't know. Like I mean, how people feel about Brady. You
Yeah.
know, it's the same shit. It's like fuck that guy. He's good, but fuck, I hate to see him win. It's the same shit. We get tired of greatness, so you start to root against the. You know, you want to root for the underdog. You know what I'm saying? Like this for the what was it? When did this past season, when did Brady and them get knocked out? It was against the fuck. It was just
Titans.
Titans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's the quarterback? Mariota.
No.
Tannehill.
It's Tannehill. Yeah, it's Tannehill. Yeah, Mariota.
What's the point you making with that?
No, it's just that like I remember this season I was like, yo, I got to go for the Titans. You know what I'm saying? It's like because I was like tired of seeing Brady. You know?
Yeah.
It's like I'm tired of seeing the guy or whatever. I was that guy. You know what I'm saying? So I see how that shit is on both sides.
And back to, like, yeah, like I definitely agree, Chance. But back to like the Last Dance, I'm so glad they showed Kobe in this last episode, man. I don't know, like
cool.
I got kind of teary-eyed, like seeing that and then like talking and stuff. Like, damn, like he's really gone, you know.
Well, it's cool that they got to interview him before he passed because it kind of like brought him back to life in a sense.
It did.
It's funny though because Jordan just like completely, he was like, "Oh, this guy's gonna make this a one-on-one league," and I mean, it's funny because it wasn't. And then I feel like Jordan was kind of making it go that way, but he didn't find success until he started trusting his teammates. Exactly. But then it's like you see the same exact career trajectory. You know, here's a thought I have. People constantly have like they want to compare the greatest, right?
Mm-hmm.
What I've realized is you really can't even compare. I mean, if you had to say who's the best of all time, it's Jordan. Yeah, obvious. But I feel like by suggesting that, it kind of diminishes. Let me expand on this point. So if you're saying Jordan's the best ever, if you just think about it logically, who is the most like him? I would say the most like him is Kobe. And I don't know if many people would disagree, but that almost kind of suggests that like that means that he's the second best player ever. Because if you're saying the best player ever is Jordan and this guy is the most like him, that's why I'm like, it kind of clouds things up when I think of LeBron, he's nothing like Jordan at all. But I maybe have him, top 3, top 4 ever. I definitely have him higher than Kobe. But they're different kinds because they're different kinds of players. And the point that I'm making with that, and most people would agree, you might have that look, but most people would agree. They're just different. They're very different prototypes. Jordan, Kobe, they're like that, the prototypical alpha dog, like killer NBA player. Whereas like LeBron, Magic, they're more of like kill by everybody killing you. They're more of like the ensemble leader, whereas like the Jordan, Kobe types are more like the solo leader, if that makes sense. Now, obviously, you could still say Jordan's best ever,
right.
But I think it's like they're two branches of different kinds of greatness,
I like that comparison that you did because a lot of people don't do that, don't compare LeBron to Magic, but LeBron is pretty much just like Magic of this era because, I mean, he could play all 5 positions. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally, like, that's the same shit Magic did. You know what I'm saying? He could play fucking anywhere. The nigga was like 6'7", and he's playing point guard. You know what I'm saying? Like, who the fuck was, like... LeBron does the same shit, and like a lot of people just don't see that comparison until he went to the Lakers, which is kind of weird. But
hey, shout out to Tony Kukoc, man. I'm glad they talked about him finally.
Yo, I'm glad.
Yeah, you brought that up, Jack.
he was like, to me, I didn't think of Steve Kerr. That's why I was like, why is he even on the cover? It was always to me, Mike, of course, Pippen, Rodman, and Kukoc. Like that was the 4 to me because Kukoc was that stretch 4. Like one of the first actually like to do the shit, so people forget that.
Yeah, especially like 96, 97, like Kukoc, that was the shit.
18 points, game
for sure. Yeah, I mean, I guess Kerr, he's in the media now, kind of like you said. He had a more pivotal role early on, and I mean, what I like about The Last Dance is we know it's coming. Jordan's about to retire, and both, like. Both of the story arcs that are going, he's going to retire. And we see the reasons why kind of building up. But it's also opened up more of like that competitive like alpha dog thing more and more and more. Like he's a dick to his teammates. And I mean, that means we know what's coming up is Kerr and Jordan. They got in a fist fight, So like I think that's another reason why Kerr gets a little bit of that, they bring him up into the forefront because Kerr was the only one to actually stand up to him. Got Gerry hopping on. What's up, Gerry?
Yo, real quick before we get off Last Dance, yo, isn't it funny that the beef with him and Isiah is still like
I'm with it though.
Yo,
Gerry, fresh to the pod. Gerry, weigh in.
Yo, that's just
Gerry,
funny.
you're on mute.
That's just funny, man. They've been beefing for 30 years.
Real quick, I still feel like
I didn't realize it.
Are you good? What's up,
yeah,
Jack?
I still feel that Isiah should have been a part of the dream team, man. I know they had beef and shit at the time, boys, but you can tell that still hurts him to his soul that he wasn't part of history,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, nobody wanted to play with him.
I know, but it's like you got to set the personal aside from the actual player, though. He's a great ass fucking point guard,
I don't know. I kind of like it.
You like Stockton?
Yeah, you weigh in.
Okay, well, I would definitely say I think Jordan's very petty. He's petty as hell. So, it's been way too long. I could tell Isiah and Magic were able to squash their shit long ago. But you can tell Jordan and Isiah somehow are still kind of holding on to that. You can see it.
Niggas used to beat each other up for 3 years straight.
So.
I mean,
that's probably what it is too. Just the whole Pistons Jordan rules kind of. I'm surprised they don't hate. I mean, I guess they did hate a little Rodman when he initially got there. But the whole Isiah thing, I'm like, man, I don't know. They just need to let that go.
I don't know. I agree. Now let it go, and it's definitely petty, but. I mean, I'm kind of with it. I don't know. I'm like, me and Michael. I'm the greatest of all time, and I got it like that, and I'm just like, nah. And I mean, to be clear, they never once confirmed, and Jordan even kind of said I wasn't the one that said anything. But I mean, they all knew if he wasn't going to be on if Jordan wasn't going to be on the team, then it really doesn't work, right? It doesn't work as this whole global move, and the best players in the world are playing on the USA team. So they know that Jordan has to be on the team, and they also know when he asks who's going to be on the team, they know who he's getting at. If Isiah's on that team, he's not going to be on the team, and that ruins the dream team,
Right.
Jordan had to sign off. So ultimately, it was everybody's hey, how do y'all feel about it? But Jordan was that star athlete, like you said, they wanted him more than.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Speaking of hate, I mean, obviously the Pistons were very hated, but I'm surprised they didn't hate Kevin McHale more. I mean, not Kevin McHale, but
Lambeer.
But yeah, Bill Lambeer.
Oh, they hate the shit out of Bill Lambeer.
Bill Lambeer was beating up everybody. I'm like, yo,
literally out there just to knock people out.
Just flagrant fouls, play after play. I'm like, okay, he's knocking dudes out of the air.
30 on that nigga, bro. He was raw, man. Bro, that's a hitter for you, man. Bill Lambeer.
Bill Lambeer. The other thing I've been doing to pass time, I guess this is kind of jumping into random thoughts, so I'll hold off for a second. Y'all have anything else on current events?
Current events, no, not that I can think of off the top of my head. Did I have anything on the docket that you're reading?
Nah.
No? All right, we're good. Let's move on.
Moving on, random thoughts. This is this isn't a current event, but it does kind of tie in with, I mean, right now, all you really have is nostalgia, all we can really watch is nostalgia. And it's funny because I've been wildly entertained still, just looking backwards. I mean, we have so many titles that you can go back and watch. So I've been watching a lot of shit, and a lot of it's from the 90s. I've been watching Batman, the animated series. Great show.
Cartoon of all time.
Great show. I've been watching shitty old 80s action flicks. So in my mind, elite action films were actually Arnold Schwarzenegger era. Those to me are the best because they're cheesy and they're over the top, but they don't rely on the crazy special effects. I mean, it is some of the most ridiculous shit. Have y'all ever seen
there
Commando?
Is special effects. I think I've seen it. There are special effects, but it's real cheesy.
They have practical effects, so it looks much cooler. With the spark explosions where the guys fly in front of it. It's in all movies. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that shit look horrible.
Yeah, you say you seen Commando?
Yeah, like a while, like years ago. Yeah, before I just remember it had cheesy effects. I remember that.
So first of all, the villain looks like he would just be like one of my dad's coworkers or something. Just like a generic white guy at like a public, like a white family barbecue. For number one, and then two, like the opening scene, I love it because they have all the Schwarzenegger one-liners. So he kills this dude on the plane, and he like makes it look like he's sleeping. And when the flight attendant walks by, he goes, please don't bother my friend. He's dead tired." He drops that one on him. He does all the same shit that he does from Batman,
all
right?
one-liners.
All the one-liners. Like he told the dude he needed to like chill out or something like that. But anyway, best part of the movie, Batman. Yeah, best part of the movie is they're taking off, and he's trying to find a way to get out of the plane. So he finds a way to freaking get through and get onto the landing gear, and he's holding onto the wheel, and they're about to take off. I mean, they start taking off. I mean, he drops just. The best part is the way they show it. You can tell it's a dummy. That's my favorite thing about old movies. How they just throw the dummy that just like no physics, and it just kind of he just flies down hundreds of feet into the water. They're going hundreds of miles an hour because they're taking off, and he just skids in, swims to the edge, and just gets out. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? Those are the best eras of. That was the best era of action films, though, for me.
Yeah, I would say like from 84 to like 94 was probably like the best. And then, you got like the buddy cop companies, you know what I'm saying, where you got like the black comedian and then like the action guy. Like,
yeah,
those are great too.
Like every Eddie Murphy movie.
95.
Or
it
Martin
started
Lawrence.
Rush Hour, I think. Or actually like another 48 hours. 48 hours.
I feel like a lot of it started like with that 48 hours, where it was like black guy and like
white cop.
Yeah, and like the white cop would always go over the line, and it was like kind of introducing like the mass audience to black culture. And it was like you had like the very cartoonish, over the top, lines, and like the white guy saying stuff like "you're acting like a thug," just like all the insensitive shit, And then what's weird is you see it become more and more and more PC, but then you'll still have shit like Rush Hour, where then all of a sudden it flips and it's like, let's make fun of Asians. Like, what? Yeah. How is that okay?
I've probably said this on like many of mediums before, but the time when I went to see the first Rush Hour in the movies was at the AMC in Meyerland. And when I tell you, it was nothing but like Asians and like my family there. So it was like this one black family and like Asians there. When I tell you, these guys were cracking the fuck up throughout the entire movie. Because that's a mad. If you look at it now through like the lens of a 2020 motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? Maybe not 2020, maybe 2019. You look at the lenses now, that's the most racist fucking movie.
He punches Ricky Tan and tells him, all y'all look alike. Like, that's not okay. Jock comes back at the perfect time since he's like on both sides. Not that you're literally Asian, but loving the Asian culture. We were just talking about 80s cinema, how it always started out with the prototype, like black and white buddy cop movie. And it was like way too over the line, like not on the nose, like dropping N-bombs, but I mean, it was racist, insensitive white guys. Well, no, like that's how it started. Was like Nick Nolte, like you're a thug, calling Eddie Murphy. He just, what, me? Like all that, you know what I mean? Like over the top shit. And then it finally becomes more and more PC and more like how shit actually is. And then all of a sudden it just flips and they're like, hey, let's make fun of Asian people with Rush Hour. Like, how the hell does that happen?
Yeah, and at the time, like I said, we shouldn't have been laughing at this shit, but we were little. You know what I mean? We didn't really know like the ins and outs. But yeah, that is true, man. I never thought about that. Like, shit was extremely racist in all aspects. But I feel like the world then, they weren't so sensitive though. Like they are now. Like it was okay. Like we knew that this person wasn't really racist. You know what I'm saying? It's like we were joking on each other. It's no big deal.
Yeah, I mean, even if you look at Netflix series like the new Chappelle stand up that he had, like he got a lot of flack for that. But I mean, look at Richard Pryor and things that happened in the 70s and 80s. Like a lot of comics are able to say more racier things back then, but now it's like, okay. It's like you said, it's more PC.
It's a good point.
On Sanford and Son, they used to say the word nigga.
Yeah.
Like on the show, I swear to God. I got like all the seasons of Sanford and Son. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, what it really is, the biggest difference I would say between like times now and then
it's the woke community.
Well, and why is the woke community there? It's because everybody's got a voice. Really, it's the media, Like the media dictates so much. I mean, think about Jordan. We talked about The Last Dance and how, he's on this pedestal, rightfully so. But I mean, I even find myself just like defending anything anti-Jordan. Like nobody could pose an argument right now anti-Jordan. And I wouldn't no, you're wrong. I disagree blindly.
Yeah,
just like, and I'm like, wait a minute. The more he is human, but it's all this media of just, hey, Jordan's the greatest ever. Don't ever forget it. Don't ever forget it. That's the biggest difference now and in the past is that there's just way more media. We all rely on the media, and there's way more speculation now instead of actual news. I guess it kind of comes back to that point.
Yeah, the media has too much power, man. To me, they have way too much power. It's just like they can build you up to break you down, like you said. When you become too perfect or too big.
You know what's weird? No, like most media, especially like mainstream, is regulated by the FCC. Which I didn't even think about this until my last episode of Every Fucking Friday when Mark was just telling me this shit. That the government runs the FCC. So like, when you hear Trump talking about fake news and all that shit like that, it's like you could put a stop to that. He's a fucking president. Like he brought that point up and it got me thinking. It was just like, well, yeah, he can't put a stop to it, but you can regulate what the fuck, you know what I'm saying, what they say and whatnot,
Here's the difference, though. Yeah, the difference, though, is a lot of this fake news phenomenon they talk about is really just social media. People picking up some blog aggregator where the headline, is kind of misleading, but not necessarily a lie, and it might kind of stretch the reality of the piece or take one quote and make that the headline. And then all of a sudden somebody shares that without even reading the article. Like, oh, look at this. Look what this piece of shit did. And then it's like the telephone game, and before you know it, like you get some bastardized version of the actual story because somebody misread or read into a headline and started sharing it blindly. That's one part. The other part of it is, how do you regulate every single thing? I think they're looking for like profanity, vulgar. They're starting to look for like bullying and things like that, but the onus is kind of falling on like the actual media itself, like social media networks, to kind of self-regulate,
Right. Yeah, it's so quick too, man. They be finding out these stories like fast and putting them right out, like right when they happen. Like, are you really sitting in front of your phone or computer, like waiting for something to happen to like redo everything? I don't know. It's just crazy to me.
It's the misinformation era.
Yeah, it's headline porn. It's quick. You're quick to just put something out real quick. You see it, you don't even read it.
Headline porn's a good way to word it, for sure.
Is Kim Jong-un dead?
I don't know. Nobody knows. Do you guys know?
Nah.
Yeah, we gotta call up our contact in Azerbaijan. Where's that place?
Ashgabat.
Ashgabat.
Speaking of Kim Jong-un, it's crazy how Rodman set that whole meeting up, but he never got credit for that shit between him and Trump.
That's who we need to call.
Rodman, like out of everybody, Dennis Rodman.
Let me tell you. I know. Yo, you remember the Mike Epps thing? You remember when Mike Epps was?
Nah, he's doing Rodman.
Yes, it's from a few years ago when Rodman had that Pyongyang bang or some shit like that. It was like when he had the basketball game, and it was a documentary about Rodman, and he took a bunch of old players to fucking North Korea, and they played a basketball game for Kim Jong-un.
I remember that.
But fucking Mike Epps does a parody of it. Y'all gotta look it up on YouTube. It's fucking hilarious, man. Shout out Mike Epps.
Mike Epps for sure.
Yeah, Mike Epps.
Hell yeah.
I will say I've been talking about going backwards to find new media. I've also gone back and listened to music because I mean, there's been some new stuff. Thundercat. There've been Drake, of course, his thing dropped. But I've just gone back.
How do y'all feel about Drake?
Drake in general, or the latest piece
Well,
that he
just
put out?
like, well, the old Drake was like legendary when he kind of stuff like that. But I mean, like Drake now, do you feel like he's still, like a good artist, or you feel like he's kind of similar, or like, what are y'all thoughts about the fucking?
I think he's kind of the same as he has been. I mean, he's evolved like his style and his approach and his genre, I guess. But he I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of indifferent. Like I know he's a polarizing guy. He's got some hits that I like, but I don't really go in like I don't watch a Fast and Furious movie thinking like is this going to win an Oscar, So when I listen to Drake, I'm like am I going to bob my head or not,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That was a B. And I hope that nigga don't come back and slap me. Me, y'all already know how I feel about Drake. There are some songs that I do like. You know what I'm saying? There's a certain style of Drake I like. Drake the person. Actually, I think we'd actually get along. You know what I'm saying?
He's probably cool, but kind of corny.
He's probably cool as fuck. You know what I'm saying? I think we'd actually get along. But in his music, there's a certain type of you know what I'm saying? Like I like the trap. I don't know if that even makes sense, but I like the non and the
Gerry
fucking,
said hates Drake.
Yeah, I know.
Hates Drake. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I don't know.
I said
like
Gerry said hates him. He's just over there. Ah.
So yeah. So my thing is, Drake's a great lyricist. Like when he spitting, I like that. I don't necessarily like hate Drake, but what I figured out as I just thought about like, dang, why do I just like dislike him so much? It's not really him. It's fucking 40. I don't like 40. Like 40's production and his beats, it just sounds the same to me, bro. Like I hate that sound. Like you said, a chance that style. I just don't fuck with that style. When Drake's rapping on other beats or other producer shit, that's when I fuck with him.
Like
it's funny because I actually kind of like the 40 beats. Yeah, but those are usually the ones that I'll just kind of listen to like those are his pop songs. I feel like those are the ones that I'll listen to and enjoy, but not like it's not some shit I'm gonna listen to like repeatedly. Like, man, I'm having a bad day. I need to put some 40 beats on, But it's usually like we're going out, like some Drake comes on. You're just like, oh hell yeah, I'm feeling that shit. Like Tuesday, like that's a catchy ass song,
Yeah.
I guess that's Meccanin or whatever, but
what's crazy about that is like I was on the McCona shit like mad early, and then I went out to Avant that night, and or like the next sometime that week, and they played the Drake shit, and I'm like, what the fuck? He's just stealing everybody's hot shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that was one.
We actually had like a full-on episode about that. Remember, it was the first Play It by Ear. Go back and listen to it if y'all haven't. It's called Why the Drake Hate. It was actually a segment from a Don't At Me that we made into the first teaser, I guess, for that. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, he's polarizing, but I'm still just kind of indifferent.
Yeah, he's a legend. Definitely, you just need to let more producers intervene a little more. Then to me, it's like, all right, it'll be better.
So what Drake beats you like the most? Like, what kind of collabs do you listen to then? Do you have like a go-to?
So I think Pierre.
Pierre, you want to come out here?
What songs are those? Like,
on his latest mixtape, it was a song called let me look. I don't know. I listened to it once, but it was a song with Playboy Cardi, and Cardi got trash because his flow wasn't good apparently. I didn't really care though. Like the
Playboy Cardi, my nigga. What was you expecting?
His voice was too high pitched or whatever. I was like, whatever about it. But that's one example. I think it'll be.
Born is Playboy's in-house producer though.
You said what?
I said Pierre Bourne is Cardi's in-house producer. Like he did all the first Playboy Cardi shit. So he be having hard shit. You know what I'm saying?
His beat fire, bro. So I'm saying the air.
Yeah, his beat's fire for sure.
Yeah. But that's an example, Mike. Or maybe if him and Kanye gets really cool again, I think that'll be dope. Kanye produce something. Or Pharrell. Just other people.
Do y'all think Kanye is ever coming back?
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll come back. I mean, what do you mean, this old type of music?
Not when I say come back. I kind of feel like he's quietly retired.
Retired. I was just about to say that. I was like, I feel like with the last album, it was almost like his last kind of drop, and since he's become a billionaire, I really don't think he has a need to even drop anything now. He's probably gonna go to he's probably gonna go like the whole.
I gotta think though.
Jay-Z route.
Kanye's like a perfectionist. He's like he's a musician before he's anything else. You know what I'm saying?
But I can also true, but all his albums have been like shorter and shorter to the point where I feel like he's like, nah, none of this comes out. That's how short it is. Like the Pootie Tang, like nah, but I can just see him not putting stuff out.
Yeah, I think everything's coming from a circle for him. It's like he's a dad now too, right? So he's probably trying to focus just on that too. He's been in the game for a while.
Let me tell you what he's waiting for. He's waiting on a new wave. Kanye and Drake are kind of like they ride waves. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like they right now there's nothing going on. You know what I'm saying? Like really in the world, nothing really going on. When something does start to happen, that's when you'll hear from those guys. You know what I'm saying? Like that's when you'll hear from like the Kanyes and the Drakes and shit like that, because they ride off of what other people are doing. There's not, like you said, there's not very much new music coming out right now. You know what I'm saying? So there's not like a new sound. There's, you know what I'm saying? We're all a little behind right now. So that's why I feel like there's kind of a slowdown with those guys. Now, he did drop that's going back to Drake. He did drop like the Tootsie Slide, which I've never heard, by the way. And I'll tell you guys
I listened to it when it came out, and I was just like, this one's one of those that's just not for me.
No, I'll tell you guys. All right, remember we had our we were recording at Gerry's, and I don't know if Jock was there, but I think it was me and you. I think Gerry's maybe even just sitting in. I don't even think he was talking much, but we were talking about the Spotify thing. And like how Spotify is like, you know, it's like it's a white girl thing or whatever like that. I think Angel like interjected because she uses Spotify. But anyway, so my friend Jonah, who I had sent his little like playlist to the new docket on Slack or whatever, he sent me that on Spotify at first, and I was like, fuck Spotify. I don't know.
No.
So, but I go to play it, right? And so I push play, and it fucking just plays Tootsie Slide. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what the hell? And then I like play the next track, and it's The Box by Roddy Ricch. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? This is why I don't like Spotify. And they're like, this is why I don't fuck with it. I can listen to the radio for this shit.
I
like,
don't know.
Play something specific, and it starts playing straight. What kind of shit is that? It's not
I do feel you on that. Like, give me songs like this, you know?
And the thing is, it's not even a song like that.
I know.
But I think that like Apple Music is for like music connoisseurs, people that already know music, and Spotify is for people that don't know music. That's the difference between.
I think with Apple Music, man, like you said,
I can see that.
Ability to be like more creative because you have to actually create your own playlist. I feel like the playlist is like a sort of easier to create versus Spotify. Because Spotify, you have all these already created playlists for you, so it's like a little bit lazier. You know, it's already there for you versus you doing it yourself.
Well, I mean, Apple Music will have them, but they're just not as good, I guess.
They're not as good as Spotify.
It's not that they're not as good. It's just that they're not as pushed as they are on Spotify. Like Spotify's whole thing is playlist. You know what I'm saying? Apple Music's thing is just music. Like you either have like albums, compilations, shit like that, and you can put together your own playlist as you can do with Spotify or whatnot. But I feel like Apple Music, like if I want to listen to an album, I could go to that album, press play, and that album.
Yeah, I feel you on that. Like, that's
like,
a good way. That's a good way to sum it up. Like, Apple Music is more for the ones seeking the content, and Spotify is more for the people that want to just like have the playlist and all that there for them. I will say this though, like if I ever want to discover new music using Apple Music, instead of going to like any of the playlists, I'll just do the radio station. I'll do like create or open radio station, and it'll come up with some random stuff, but it's a little bit more like a Pandora experience though, you know?
Yeah. I usually go by usually when I want to discover new music or whatever, I'll try to do it by genre. So I know that like I'm kind of adding to the same playlist or whatever, because my playlists are usually separated by genre. So, but the thing is, like you said, there really isn't much new music out or whatever. I mean, there's been a few drops like Elena Perez and shit like that, which I actually bought her album.
I know that's good.
I actually paid like $50 or some shit like that for the vinyl and the CD and the autograph. You know what I'm saying? Hell yeah!
But back to y'all's last mention of Drake.
Spent money on the past 2 years. Elena Perez. Shout out, boo. I met you one time.
Y'all mentioned the Tootsie Slide. I was gonna say, I think the whole reason he even dropped it was just to drop another song. Well, no, not even that, but just drop another song that could have a dance to it. Exactly how he had with "In My Feelings." He realized that was such a big hit. He was like, "Cool, I can make something for teeny boppers." You know?
He's playing to the social media instead of the music. You know,
exactly. It's perfect for TikTok.
TikTok, yeah, I was gonna say that TikTok. Like he made a lot of money like from that job. So.
Smart though. Hey, we can hate, and I'm hating, but like he's swagger jacket TikTok. That's genius.
Yeah, he's a smart business dude.
You know, reason I brought up music initially, y'all ever have like just songs you've heard? Obviously, you've always liked them, whatever, but they'll get like a second wave where you're just like, you know what? I used to kind of listen to this, but now I really fuck with this song. Y'all ever have those like second waves?
It'd be like years down the road, but like yeah. Like, fuck, I can't think of the last one.
Like me, it was it was the
Flipping this kid's ass for everyone that's listening on audio.
But yeah, the Jacquees album. So like he's the first listen to, like it was good, Mike, like you said, but when I listened to it again, I'm like, this track, I mean, this album has some bangers on it, you know, because like now we have no choice but to listen to music, like, you know, for what it is now, and not like, you know, because we're not in a rush. Everybody's supposed to, you know, be slowing down, just appreciating stuff more.
I feel like it'll happen the most with me with like Travis Scott albums. Like I have like the 3 or 4 that I listen to the most, and then like 2 or 3 that if they come on, I'll listen to. And then I have like maybe 2 or 3 that I just kind of skip through. And I feel like those kind of change. Like I'll have like a cluster of like 3 or 4 that I'm like, I always fuck with these. Yeah. And then after a while, I'm like, I want to start listening to those. And, you know, I'll hear like most recently, like Houston Fornication. That's been like the song I've listened to the most on that album. I don't know why. That was always one of the ones that when it would come on, I'm like, okay, it's cool, but like whatever. But now for whatever reason, like the feel, it just kind of like, I don't know, like sometimes, you know, the vibe just kind of has to match.
Let me ask you a question. Have y'all listened to Ye again or not really?
I've liked Ye. Yeah, I liked the first time I heard it, I wouldn't, like, it's still on the lower end of his albums in my opinion, but I will say, like, when I first heard it, it was probably one of the ones that I liked the earliest because it was like the least radical. It was like the easiest, like just kind of like easy vibes, and like it wasn't like a mainstream release that everybody was hyping up. It just kind of like came out, and I listened to it. I'm like, okay, this is cool. I like this. This is easy listening. Or like a Yeezus or an 808s, it was so new that when I first heard each one, I was like, Now those are my 2 favorite Kanye albums.
808s was phenomenal.
Oh, 808s was legendary.
First heard it.
When I first heard it, I did not do it.
With you guys, I think I was like somewhere in fucking Stonegate or some shit when we first heard like 808s or some shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, there's science behind that.
I haven't really went back and listened to it. I only listened to it twice, and then that was it. You know,
808s?
No, I'm talking about Ye, not 808s.
Oh, yeah. I was like, what?
Nah, Ye. Like you said, like it's a okay album, but it's just one of those albums that's like I think a little bit too slow for me personally, so that's why I don't really go back and like listen to it a lot like that. I thought I would when it came out, but it didn't happen.
I actually like it as kind of like a summertime album, or like, you know, just have it on while you're just like driving, like it's sunny outside and shit. Like even though the first song is I Thought About Killing You, but you know, like the what is the
yikes.
Innocent. The
Ghost.
What is it? Ghost Town.
That one was my favorite.
Oh yeah,
that's all the time.
My bad.
Yeah, he's talking about the one with that chick. Yeah, I think that's Ghost Town.
Ghost Town's dope. Yeah.
Yo.
Yeah. I'm saying, yeah, it's cool. No, there's science though behind like an 808s or like a Yeezus that people don't really like listen to or enjoy at first.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime you have something that's just like such a new sound, initially it's kind of off-putting. So what radio stations will do when they're trying to sneak in new sounds is they will sandwich those between two familiar sounds. So if it's like Taylor Swift and like whatever else comes on all the freaking time, if they sandwich a new sound in between two songs like that, that's how they can kind of sneak it in. I heard that on like a Malcolm Gladwell podcast. I was like, huh, interesting.
Right.
But
that definitely makes sense. They definitely do that shit in radio. I mean, shit, I do that. You know what I'm saying? In like a DJ set. You know what I'm saying? Even when I'm doing it for myself, it's like, oh, let me sneak this in. Like some song that just came out, say I'm like on a Friday night or some shit like that, and some new or not new artist, but like say a Drake or someone dropped some shit. You know what I'm saying? Let me throw this in there. Okay, some bullshit. Let me go back to something familiar. You know?
Yeah.
Like, keep it going. That must have got dark, dude, because your room got red.
It did get dark. The sun leaks in from the side. I'm like, nah, it went away. So I had to put the light. Otherwise, I'd be sitting in darkness.
Darkness, everybody.
Any other random thoughts?
I'll get to this on my shit a little bit and a little more in depth. But fucking Nextdoor app.
Oh yeah.
Yesterday, yo. So I told this. So all right, on this one post, I'll just talk just real quick. This one post, the post title was called "Bar Open," right? And then inside they were like, "Are the bars on Emancipation supposed to be open? I see activity." And someone
Snitches.
was like, "No, call the police." And I put like little laughing emojis and shit like under there, or whatever, like lighten up the mood or whatever. But then like a couple days later, I look on the same post because it shows you that like people like more people have posted under there and shit. And so some lady named Janet was like, you should call 311 to report them. The police, they'll come in and shut them down. And I was like, wait. I was like, so you fucking like call the police on a business simply because it's open? Who the fuck are you supposed? I didn't say fuck. I was like, who are you supposed to be? Commissioner Gordon shining the light for Batman? And like, I was like, why don't you just mind your own fucking business? I didn't say fuck, but mind you, they reported that shit and it got taken off. Mind you, I didn't curse. I was saying fuck, but I didn't curse at all.
That's weird.
Commissioner Gordon shining the light for Batman.
Yeah, people are too sensitive on there. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yo.
The only time I really would see
I was like, yo,
because you made a Batman reference
last night. No, or this morning actually, when I checked it. I comment on.
I would use it to like laugh at Amazon videos where they're just like chucking the package. That shit's funny. It's not funny like if your shit's broken, but like just watching your video, they're just checking it. Or they'll have like there's like a stray dog on this street and it's like clearly a coyote. Like, whoa, you better run.
Yeah.
Gerry, you ever on that?
Dogs and shit.
Now what's that? It says straight
Nextdoor app.
Oh, I think Chance mentioned it, so I think I was gonna download it, but I didn't get around to it. It was asking for too much information, but it sounds funny.
Get on this shit. No,
it's the feds. He said it's asking too much info.
Yeah.
Yo, remember that dog with the titties?
Oh hell yeah, I remember that. It had like udders.
Oh hell no! It was like
that was up by West Road and Huskies.
Like that, like pictures of dogs with like udders and shit like that, and they're like, "Ew, it's a dog." Like that dog's a fucking like just good.
Yeah, like fresh nursed.
Oh, you remember Chance was like, "That's the slut dog."
That's the slut dog.
I remember that.
Hey, I don't know why I had this thought, but randomly I was talking to somebody the other day about school lunch. And like, why is school lunch so drastically polarizing? Like, it's either awful or great at every school. It's either like, I'll eat it or I'll never eat the school lunch there.
Well, I hate the smell of cafeteria, bro. I hate the smell.
But the smell of the cafeteria smell greasy. It smells like grease.
Always greasy.
Always.
It smells bad.
Let me. Okay,
so
in elementary school, when I got to public school at Mark Twain, I'd eat school lunch or whatever. Like, my mom would give me $1.25. It'd be like a quarter $1. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She'd say that I'd buy lunch. But then Coy Dang, Mike, you know him, he used to give me half of his sandwich every fucking day. And then me and you, we used to chug milks and shit. So we were like mad healthy and shit because we eat all our fucking food.
Yeah.
No, for real, we used to have milk chugging.
I remember that.
But so in 6th grade at Pershing, all right, so they used to have they had multiple lines for some reason. There was 12 different lunch lines.
Yeah.
And at first I would get the chicken and cheese or some random.
Oh yeah, they'd have the chicken tenders and literally just dump nacho cheese on it.
Hell yeah, shit was dank. But then that's when Papa John's start selling fucking $1.50 slices. You know what I'm saying? Every fucking day. So then it turned into we buy either two slices, 2 or 3 slices, or we throw down and get a whole pizza. 8-slice shit. So I always ate Papa John's pizza every day until they had that Taco Bell and shit. But pretty much throughout middle school and high school, I ate Papa John's pizza every fucking day.
Papa John's
$1.50, hell yeah.
You're gonna die.
No, that shit was dank. I'm still here. That was 15, 16 years ago.
It was so drastic, man. There was I went to school with you, obviously, HISD, and they just started busting out fast food daily. So yes, that was good.
Hell yeah.
And then I moved to Sugarland, and it was it's awful. I would go and they would have such bad school lunch at the school I went to that I would just do the snack line, and I'd either eat chips and soda or fries and soda every day. That was your meal, or Hot Pocket. That's the kind of shit we grew up eating,
Pockets. Holy
and then
shit.
But then you know what? Shout out Cypress. Cypher actually had good school lunch. The actual lunch they would have, they'd have that elbow fat. They knew what they were doing. They'd just whip it up over there.
Yo, the ladies in the elementary school lunch line, sometimes like I said, I had a quarter wrapped in $1, so you'd lose it in your cargo pants and shit like that.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'd be like, "Yo, I ain't got it," and they're just like, "All right, baby, you good?" Because I was the only black kid and we're on a black and shit. It's all right, baby, you straight.
I don't know about y'all, man, but the bus rides used to be lit though. Over there, right on the buses and shit. Man, that shit was
Yeah.
Oh, the bus. Pull out the bus.
I did for a while. Man, I had Gerry. Do you remember that time there was that dude? He was some really eccentric, bro. That went on Gary's bus. And,
he's my Christian.
I think so. I think he used to step with you, right, Jock? But the funny thing is, I remember for a while he had a goth face, and he pasted his hair down like that. You remember that?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to cap. That always used to throw me off because I was because he would literally do that thing the sassy white kids do this.
Yeah, the emo thing.
Yeah, he would do that shit.
Are you talking about Hippolyte?
Nah.
Not Hippolyte.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say because that thing was cool.
Yeah, he didn't do that.
Yeah, I remember on the bus, man.
Anytime I hear T-Pain, that lovey-dovey, that kiss, I think about that nigga, bro, because I remember we were caravanning to that party.
That was dope. Man, those are the days.
Yeah, matter of fact, next time Christian's in town, we got something to slide through.
Yeah,
hell yeah.
I don't know about y'all, but we used to freestyle on the bus. I used to do that
yeah,
growing up in high school.
Or play a pencil wars where you gotta smack the pencil. Yeah, pencil break. Yeah.
Apple slap.
Freestyling. Or the little taco, the white papers. You remember those?
Yeah, because before South Falls, I was in H-Town, which was hood compared to this, Cypher area. So over there, it was a little bit bad. So we just
Real talk. Real talk. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Jack, You look like David Ruffin when a nigga came up and stole the fucking microphone from Dennis Elwin and was like, I know you want to leave me, but I refuse to let you go.
I appreciate that, bro. It's a compliment. Thank you, brother.
Yo, David Ruffin was the trillest.
Nobody came to see you, Otis?
Ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis. You wish you could work it like me.
David Ruffin flowing on the bus. Yeah, I never really did much on the bus. I would either sleep or listen to music.
You sit in the back, right? Like in the back or the front?
It would vary. Yeah, it'd kind of vary. I don't know. Like, I always mix it up. Yeah, I'm always doing something new for no reason.
But the back, you know,
Yo, I remember me and Mike started like punching each other on the bus one time.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Brotherly love.
You do dumb shit.
That was lunch, man. And that's good time.
Hell yeah.
Remember Matthew Whaley?
Oh yeah, I do remember him. I think he moved like right whenever it was like the beginning of some school year. He moved there.
Canada. Wasn't it weird how many like foreign exchange motherfuckers we knew?
We actually did have a lot. I feel like we had way more in HISD than we did in Cyprus.
Because there was remember like Huntac and Suntac?
Yeah.
Rohan.
One was like mean and one was nice.
Yeah.
That was weird.
Yeah.
Well, that's about all the random thoughts I got. Getting into the deep shit. I mean, I know one of the things we've been talking about, we kind of talked about it throughout the episode, was just kind of how consumerism is going to change. I mean, we're seeing that now. So, I mean, it's all about...
I mean, pretty much everything I've ordered now is, man, to the door, you know, to-go orders, anything.
Everything. People get nervous to even like wipe off to-go boxes and stuff like that. Like, I don't know, like... It's weird though. Anytime I leave the house, like I feel like I have to wash my hands when I come home, regardless. Even if I don't even get out of my car, I'm like,
Well, if and I'm around people, I definitely wash my hands when I get back, and I also take a shower too. I only like come around people.
So you have for real been showering more, Jack? Like if you go out and about, like you dropping multiple a day?
Yeah, I mean I shower just twice. If I know that like I'm around the other day, like, there's a lot of fucking people there. No mask. It's like whatever, you know, because since everybody keeps the shit like went away. So, of course, like when I got back home, yeah, you know what I mean? Just to make sure shit. I don't
Keep it tidy.
Not you know, I make sure I keep it on.
Have y'all been using more soap? Like in the shower?
Hand soap.
Nah,
hand soap.
Like
showers. I always wash my hands a lot.
Hand soap, yeah, but shower soap.
I've kind of been using a little bit more. Right, you know what I'm saying? Like
maybe you're skipping out before.
Nah. It's just like I'm just using a bit more. You know what I'm saying?
I usually like soap my hands up like in between every like major section. You know, like I mean, it's not like one quick lather and then that's the whole body. It's like, oh, I got my arms. Okay, now I got my chest and stomach. Okay, now I got my back. Like, you know, like so. I feel like I use quite a bit. I go through a soap bar maybe like. 2-3 weeks nowadays, but I've also been buying. We talked about that, buying like fancier soaps, just cause.
So my mom buys a lot of fancy soaps and shit. You know what I'm saying? Because like, and for some reason, I don't know why, but everyone showers in the same fucking shower here now. like everyone, so all the soaps are like confined to one fucking place and shit. And so like, there's, fucking a plethora of fucking. Because women they smell different and shit every now and again. Dude, I use about 4 or 5 different soaps, like every fucking shower. Like, I put on some shit that's like it's called like a shower smoothie or some shit. It's like lavender and everything, man. It has you fucking feeling luscious when you come out, man.
Shower smoothie.
That shit fire too, man.
I was gonna say I eat that shit. Be careful.
Shit,
man. I'm
good too. It looked like Ivan Ooze shit. You remember on Power Rangers? The fucking ooze?
Shit.
Oh, for sure. Oh, yeah. Some of that shit does look kind of like magical potions. But man, we're hitting that hour 20 mark.
Oh, man. It's longer.
It was a longer one. I don't know. I feel like we covered obviously a lot. We had a lot of stuff to catch up on, but I don't know. Any other thoughts? Deep thoughts? Random thoughts?
Well,
Current events?
I just want to say R.I.P. to Don Shula. You know, he passed away today.
Yeah, I heard that, man. R.I.P. man.
Also, Cinco de Mayo tomorrow too. Tacos.
Yo, tomorrow's Tuesday, right?
Taco Tuesdays from distant.
Y'all trying to hit Velvet tomorrow? Or what's up?
Good.
I'm serious.
I don't even know how that would work.
Yeah.
Nigga, we'll eat in the park.
Yeah, I guess so, right?
Park or some shit.
Something like that.
Watching like
One of those big rainbow things that they used to have in elementary school. And
Yeah, I remember those. I remember the rainbow parachutes.
So anytime that shit came out,
it was going down.
Yeah,
yo, for real, I want some tacos tomorrow, man. I had a Kobe beef burger tacos one time. Nice. Oh my god, bro! Like that's taco burger. Hey, what the fuck you get your haircut?
Huh?
You said me?
Yeah, where'd you get your haircut?
I got clippers.
Hey, me too.
Damn, let me see your shit, bro. Come on. Oh my. Like you can chop those
I need to touch my shit.
I cut mine solo cuts.
You gotta let Emily get in your shit.
Nah, I don't know about that. Jack, you trying to tell everybody eat tacos responsibly?
Yeah, you know, and drink beer responsibly. Tomorrow, Cinco de Mayo, but still have fun. You know, still turn up in your own way. You know, keep us down. You know, still be positive. Still go out. You can take a walk and drink. FaceTime, game with your people. Eat tacos together. Something like that.
You got
sounds like a circus is going on at Gary's house.
I know, man.
It's hard to hear Jock. That's why I'm like, wait. It's like, like it was like Jock's a circus act.
Yeah, because Xavier's pushing all kind of random buttons.
That nigga doing that shit on purpose too.
Yeah. Well, shit. I think that's it, man. I think we're all running out of steam, but good episode. We got a lot of stuff in the works. A lot of video stuff coming. We've got Don't At Me, of course. Chance got new show. Give it a shout out.
Every fucking Friday at 4:20 with that nigga Chance. Y'all catch it on the YouTube. Look through all the rep shit. I'll post a few videos there or whatnot, the first two, so you guys can catch up on that and whatnot. I'll probably start putting out audio or something if I can rip that shit from there. But mostly it's just gonna be video and shit like that. So just follow me on the Instagram and shit like that. And look for it every fucking Friday at 4:20. You can't miss it.
We'll link all that up for sure. Link up all those old videos we were talking about too, so everybody can go back. But you can check all that out either on YouTube. Look up Repertoire Network. Give us help us get 100 subscribers. We have a shitty, long, nasty link right now. You know, because you have to get 100 subscribers to get it custom. So that's what y'all can help us out with. If you want to help us out with anything, help us, go subscribe on YouTube so that we can get a good custom link, make it easier for other people to follow. Instagram, Twitter, find us at therep.network. Also, the website is therep.network. Tune in next week, and maybe we'll do a play it by ear sometime soon. Pay attention. Maybe you'll see that next episode pop out soon.
Hopefully.
You never know.
All right, with that, I'll see y'all, fellas.
All right, peace out.
Stay blessed.